So while most Americans were watching headlines overseas, Iran quietly issued a direct nuclear threat against the United States. And then, just hours later, an illegal immigrant previously deported was arrested in Los Angeles for throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement officers. You heard that right, guys. A man who wasn't even supposed to be in this country just tried to murder U.S. police officers on our own streets, while a foreign regime threatens to vaporize our bases abroad. Now, what if I told you this isn't just a coincidence? What if I told you guys that the chaos that you're seeing in our cities right now and the threats abroad are strategically aligned, and we're being lied to about both of them? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how ICE, how DHS, and the U.S. military are being deployed right now, not to stop riots, but to brace for something worse. Okay. We're just seeing the beginning of this, guys. We're going to expose what Mayor Karen Bass, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, and Governor Gavin Newsom of California did not tell you. Why President Trump is suddenly losing confidence in diplomacy, and unfortunately, the chilling truth about what Iran just moved in from China. Now, if you think America's safe right now, think again, guys, because while our leaders play politics, America is under attack. And by the end of today's video, you're going to see exactly how deep this thing goes. So let's get started. I want to start with what the media tried to downplay, but what should have been breaking news in every household across this country. They try to downplay it. By the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Because while people were distracted by staged sound bites and celebrity drama, Iran's defense minister looked the United States in the face and threatened war. Not just symbolic, not a drill. He said, and I quote, "If a conflict is imposed on us, all U.S. bases are within our reach, and we will boldly target them." That's not some saber rattling. That is a battlefield declaration, and this just came as nuclear negotiations were collapsing. Now, here's the kicker, guys. Iran did not stop there. They promised a proportionate response if attacked, which, coming from a regime that calls us the big Satan, that should raise every alarm. But it gets worse, because just 24 hours later, President Trump went public, and for the first time, he admitted he's no longer confident that we're going to reach a peaceful deal with Iran. Think about that, guys. The man who's known for cutting deals around the world just said Iran's tone has become dangerously aggressive and things have changed. Now, unfortunately, that's not even the part that should scare you. What should scare you is what happened right here at home the moment Iran made that threat. By the way, do you think America's big Satan, or is Iran big Satan? But before we get to what broke loose in Los Angeles, let's unpack why this is even happening now, because you're going to hear about Iran's ballistic missile stockpile and what they just brought in from China that has analysts warning they're preparing for something big. So stick with me, guys, because this is not just about what Iran says. This is about what they're about to do. So here's what most Americans have not been told. Just a few days ago, Iran placed a massive materials order with China. It's enough to manufacture up to 800 ballistic missiles. Think about it. At a time when they're threatening to wipe out U.S. bases off the map, they're not sitting at the table negotiating peace. They're stockpiling weapons fast. And according to the sources that are very close to U.S. and Israeli intelligence, this isn't about deterrence. This is about readiness. They're not trying to stop this thing. They're not trying to prevent this thing. They're buying ammonium perchlorate, a key propellant used in long-range solid fuel missiles, the kind that essentially carries payloads thousands of miles away in silence until it's too late. So now you might be thinking, surely somebody's keeping them in check, right? Well, that brings us to the IAEA, the global nuclear watchdog, okay? So here's the problem, though. They admitted just days ago they can't confirm anything. They say Iran has denied full access, and without that, the world is flying blind. Iran claims their program is civilian only. But at the same time, their supreme leader is openly saying, no one will tell us what we can and cannot do. We will enrich our uranium, and if we want nuclear warheads, we will get them. And get this, guys, experts say they now have enough enriched uranium at 60% that with just one more step, they are just one more step to 90%, and they could build up to 10 nuclear warheads. 10. Let me explain it plain and simple. Iran is not bluffing anymore. They are preparing for the unthinkable. And while that threat grows overseas, what just happened in Los Angeles, what just happened in LA proves that danger is already here. Because in just a moment, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how a previously deported illegal immigrant with a criminal record was caught on camera throwing firebombs at American officers in the streets of Los Angeles. And here's the worst part. He was supposed to be gone. Hoping things improve is not a plan. But calling Chapter is. Sharon Bertusik, she was dropped from her Medicaid. Chapter stepped in, got her a brand new plan with $0 premiums, zero meds, and co-pays slashed from $89 to $20. Leslie Taylor, she called in, compared her options, and she's now saving $1,000 a year. They took action, and you can too. So give our friends at Chapter a call right now. Phone number is 909-563-8279, or better yet, hit them up on their website, askchapter.org/Ron. Link in the description down below, as well as their phone number down below. So, oh, and by the way, Chapter is 100% free, so you have nothing to lose. So now let's go ahead and bring this threat home, okay? Because while Iran was issuing nuclear ultimatums, an illegal immigrant almost deported once, or actually not almost, he was deported once. He's back in the country, and he got caught throwing a Molotov cocktail at ICE officers in Los Angeles. Think about it, guys. This man was not supposed to be here, but he was. And according to DHS, he wasn't just protesting. He was trying to kill federal agents. He's now facing attempted murder and felony arson charges. But you want to hear the kicker here, guys? This same individual had already been charged with DUI and grand larceny. He had a pretty extensive rap sheet. And yet, somehow, miraculously, he found his way back across the border, straight into the middle of a riot. So I have to ask the question nobody in legacy media will. How many more of these people who are just like him are here? And if one was bold enough to throw a firebomb at federal agents, what are others planning to do? Now, here's where it gets a little bit more twisted. You got Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and her allies in the media claiming they had no idea ICE was operating that night. They said that they were caught off guard. But ICE Director Todd Lyons fired back immediately, saying that's a lie. ICE notified LAPD 48 hours in advance. They have the receipts, emails, records, proof. So why is LA Mayor Karen Bass lying? Why cover for chaos? That's not leadership. This is sabotage, guys. And it gets even more serious because for the first time ever, ICE agents were seen operating in LA under protection from the U.S. military. That's right, guys. Soldiers walking the streets. Photos show National Guard and Pentagon assigned personnel providing security while ICE moved in. Ask yourself this now. If everything's so peaceful like Newsom and Karen Bass claimed, why did ICE need military backup to make arrests in an American city? Now, of course, we need to dive into exactly how these leaders are just gaslighting the public, why DHS had to publicly call them out, and how this isn't just a local failure. This is a pattern of cover-ups and denial in the highest levels. So let's talk about what should have been a bipartisan moment of clarity. Instead, what did we get? Oh, we got Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass stepping in front of cameras to say, oh, the National Guard's not needed. Everything's peaceful. Peaceful. ICE was dodging firebombs. Federal agents were being attacked with rocks, glass, and Molotov cocktails in the streets of Los Angeles. This isn't just political spin. This is deception. And in the middle of it all, they tried to claim that ICE never warned them. But as we already discussed and exposed, ICE notified local authorities 2 days in advance. They followed the protocol. They came prepared, and yet our so-called local leaders out there are acting shocked. It's not ignorance, guys. It's intentional. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin didn't hold back either. In fact, she publicly called it what it was. It's a lie. And she made it clear that ICE will not back down. In fact, operations are ramping up. Her exact words: "We picked up child rapists, child molesters, convicted arsonists, and we're just getting started." But let me tell you why this is even more dangerous than what it looks like. Because while these leaders posture for TV and they claim everything's under control, DHS had to bring the U.S. military to shield agents from violence on U.S. soil. That's not normal, guys. That's not routine. That's not peaceful. That is collapse level instability. And now here's the part they're not telling you. We're about to talk about why these two events, the nuclear threat bomb or the nuclear threat abroad and the firebomb attack here at home, happened in the same 48-hour window. And what federal agents are now quietly investigating behind the scenes, including who's funding this chaos. Now, here's where things get a little bit kind of scary, because these two flashpoints didn't happen a week apart or a couple months apart or anything like that. They happened within hours of each other. Iran threatens nuclear war, saying they'll strike U.S. bases if talks fall apart. Then all of a sudden, a violent firebomb attack breaks out right here in Los Angeles. Same 48-hour window. Same moment that American people are distracted, divided, and exhausted. Now ask yourself, is that just a coincidence? Or are we witnessing something way more coordinated and far more dangerous? Because DHS isn't ruling it out. In fact, they've already confirmed they're working with the FBI and the IRS to track the funding sources behind these protests. You see these riots, right? They're not your average spontaneous flash mobs. Agents have documented matching signs, matching flags, synchronized chants, and high-tech coordination that, this is the kind of logistics that just don't happen by accident. You see what I'm saying? You see where we're going with this, right? Just like back in 2020, there are whispers that some of these protesters are being paid, okay? And now, with the military involved, the federal government has no choice but to look deeper. Because let's be honest, guys, why is it that every time America faces a foreign threat, our cities erupt in chaos right behind it? Who's benefiting from this? Here's the scary part. Our enemies don't need to fire a single missile if they can just destabilize us from the inside. And what better way to do that than, through our own nation, through our own wide open borders? So this brings us to the next part here, right? What about our broken immigration system and now this soft underbelly of national security, like how ICE is trying to hold the line while being undermined by the very people sworn to protect us? Guys, let's stop pretending that this is about one riot or one missile threat. Let's be real. We're being set up right now. Do you feel set up? Because when you look at everything happening, look at Iran's nuclear escalation, look at the fire bombs in LA, right? Violent, illegal reentry, and weak local leadership. Then you realize we're not dealing with random chaos. What we're dealing with is an open invitation for foreign actors and criminals to exploit a system that's already broken. And that is what brings us to the southern border. So let me explain it very plainly so that everyone can understand this. The border is not just about immigration anymore. It's about infiltration. This firebomb suspect, he was deported. He had a seriously long rap sheet, and yet he got back in. Now apply that to every cartel runner, every trafficker, and every potential foreign operative crossing in plain sight. If even one of them is working with enemies like Iran, then the fuse has already been lit. But ICE is not backing down. In fact, officials just said, we're ramping up, we're coming. We're not asking permission anymore. And Trump, say what you want about Trump, say what you want about Trump's tone, but he warned us this would happen. Under his watch, borders were tighter, ICE was supported. Diplomacy came with a credible threat of force. Now, contrast that with what we've seen. Deportations reversed, open border rhetoric, foreign nationals re-entering, and cities like LA turned into soft targets. We're no longer talking about policy differences here. We're talking about survival. So I want to go ahead and tie everything together. These Iran threats, the street violence, the denial, the failure, and finally, the one question that nobody in Washington, D.C. is willing to answer. If this is not a coordinated attack on America, then what the hell is this? Now, here's the truth, guys. This wasn't just about a nuclear threat, and it wasn't just about a firebomb in Los Angeles. This is a pattern, and it's a pattern that we've actually seen before. Every time America hesitates, the enemies get bolder, and the chaos spreads from our borders to our streets. Foreign threats abroad, violence at home, weak leaders pretending it's all fine, it's all good, and federal agencies scrambling to plug holes in a sinking ship. But here's the question every American should be asking right now, and let me know if you are asking this question. How many more signs do we need before we admit what's really happening? Because when a foreign power threatens to nuke our bases, and the same weekend, a criminal who never should have been in this country attacks federal agents with a Molotov cocktail, that's not just failure. That's collapse. That's infiltration. That's America being attacked from the inside out, or the inside and out simultaneously. So what do? Well, here's what we don't do. We don't wait for CNN to tell us that it's real. We don't hope that somebody in Washington grows a pair of balls and actually does something. We don't just sit quietly while our cities burn and our enemies load their launchers. We wake up. We speak up. We get prepared. We get ready. Okay? Because I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to warn you. You don't prepare when the attack happens. You got to prepare before it happens. It's kind of like buying insurance after the accident. Can't do that. I mean, you can, but they won't cover you. And so right now, we're clearly out of time. Here's your next step, though. Make sure you're following this channel, because I promise you this, guys, what comes next is going to make this week look like a calm before the storm. So I'm going to keep you informed. I'm going to show you what they won't show you, okay? And together, we're going to make sure America does not fall asleep while it's under attack, all right? So until next time, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you on the next one.